Drama bin drama, a rap drama. Now we have said before on this channel that the current anti-corruption campaign is really a political weapon. A political weapon with some very specific political objectives in mind. This very bold assertion, which some would say is a reckless one, seems to be finally bearing fruit, coming to pass, because some very, very dramatic things are unfolding at lightning speed, even as I make this recording. Nandi Senator Kiprotich Cherangai, who's the chairman of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, has summoned the Director of Public Prosecution, for grilling, as Kenyans like to put it. Grilling over what? Grilling over the current fight against corruption. Now, the DPP has been summoned to appear this coming week on Wednesday. Now, going by the behavior of government officials, especially government officials in sensitive, very powerful dockets, there's no guarantee that the DPP will appear on Wednesday. But let us wait and see what happens. Now, meanwhile, close allies of Deputy President William Ruto are very nervous. They're very jittery. In fact, they're issuing statements saying, although they support the fight against corruption, this fight is very selective. And in fact, it is political in nature, aimed at purging some people politically, aimed at destroying any hopes, that DP William Ruto may have of clinching the presidency in 2022. Yes, that's what they've said. At the same time, 7 names have been leaked out. 7 bigwigs, who are scheduled to be arrested and prosecuted for corruption. That list is loaded, it is loaded with Deputy President William Ruto allies. Indeed, all his top lieutenants are on that list, due for prosecution very, very soon. What? Now we're going to analyze this and the possible repercussions and consequences immediately after the very brief upcoming commercial break. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, one of the accusations, or rather allegations, by DP William Ruto's people, is that some of the people at the forefront of this very dirty fight against corruption, as they put it, which is being used as a political weapon, some of the people behind it are not even in government. Now, it is very easy to guess who they are referring to, even if they didn't mention the name. And that is why it's absolutely fascinating that one of the first people to come out in response to DP William Ruto's people is a man called David Murathe of the Jubilee Party, and indeed one of the closest, most influential advisors to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, talk about joining the dots. Now, what does Murathe say? Murathe says what these people are suffering from is the usual Kenyan disease of thieves and corrupt people. The disease of going back to your community, the disease of politicizing any fight against corrupt people. He emphasizes that the president's fight against corruption has got nothing to do with politics. Everybody must carry his own cross. Okay? He says if you're a thief, you're a thief. And it has nothing to do with their political inclinations. Therefore, people should not run back to their communities or their political inclinations to cry foul. They should just face the music. That's what Murathe is saying. Karanja Kibicho, the Principal Secretary Interior, is reading from exactly the same script and saying more or less the same thing Murathe is saying in his own words or in different words. Now I want to remind you what we have been told by Yala legislator Simon Bogwa and Bwana Sonko, the governor of Nairobi. They have mentioned exactly the same two names that I've just talked about, David Murathe and Karanja Kibicho. Now when you take these two names and add on top of that the list of seven to be prosecuted very soon, then you get a very clear picture of the major players in this vicious political battle. Now I say political because of one very simple fact. Don't fool yourself. Before any bigwigs are prosecuted in a court of law, the DPP or even the EACC, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Unit, must refer to State House before they proceed. They are not really independent. Had they been independent, then you would safely agree with what Bwana Kibicho is saying and Bwana Murathe is saying, that this is not political. But the fact that they have to refer to State House qualifies it as very, very political. Now, Club 1999 members will be able to understand very clearly why this fight against corruption, cannot be called anything else but very highly political. Even keen regulars on this channel should be able to come to the same conclusion, because I've repeatedly said here that corruption and the government are joined at the hip. They are twins. Government cannot operate without corruption. Now, for legal reasons, I cannot mention the name of those 7 on the corruption list to be prosecuted. You can actually get that information from one of my very latest recordings on Club 1999, sensitive videos. I named the 7 and I explain exactly what could transpire if indeed the decision is made to go forward with the prosecutions, which actually is a foregone conclusion, because that was the whole game plan right from the word go. Now, to become a member of Club 1999 is very easy. Just use the email address you see on your screens right now to send a blank email, and you'll get an automated response immediately telling you what to do to become a member. Anyway, trust me and believe me when I tell you all the top lieutenants, the most visible, the ones who are closest to DP William Ruto, are on that list. Now, what are the consequences of all these developments? Well, we already know that the DP William Ruto camp has declared war. So we should expect nothing less than political fireworks. The DP Ruto camp has said that they will fight back very strongly against these anti-corruption crusaders with ulterior motives. And how are they going to do this? They have even told us how exactly they're going to do it. They're going to do this, wait for this one, by exposing names, naming names behind corruption in Kenya. Now, where we have reached in politics in Kenya today, you can be sure that these are not idle threats. Folks, this is the real thing. You can be sure that nobody wants to get arrested. Indeed, we have already seen how the suspects of the NYS saga have been treated. They have been denied bail, repeatedly denied bail, and therefore they have been in cells since they were arrested. They have never been released, and all signs are that they will never be released until the conclusion of the trial. Now, this in itself is strange, more than strange, because according to our constitution, even murder suspects can get bail. You know, before the 2010 constitution, if you're suspected of murdering somebody, there was no way you're going to get out on bail. You would have to remain behind bars until the conclusion of your case. But today things have changed. And although I'm not trying to downplay the effects of corruption, and although many Kenyans are very happy that the suspects are behind bars, the truth is the law must be followed. Justice must be applied to all in equal measure. And therefore, the truth is it should be of great concern to Kenyans that suspects cannot get bail. And they're not even murder suspects. They're corruption suspects, as bad as it is. And so DP William Ruto people know this very well. And none of them would like to spend even a minute behind bars eating maragwe, beans, half-cooked beans and cabbages and whatever else people eat while they're in police cells. And naturally, they'll kick up a storm. They'll do anything they can do to keep themselves from ending up in such a situation. Folks, just to spell it out very clearly, it seems that we may be looking at the Jubilee Party as we've always known it on its last legs, about to implode. Already we know that in recent times there's been a lot of tension between the former URP wing of the Jubilee Party and the former TNA wing of the Jubilee Party. The tensions have been very high. But it seems those who want to prosecute know exactly what they're doing. Because very, very interesting, this list of 7 seems to have made an attempt at balancing things. Because there's also one name, a very prominent TNA bigwig, who is on the list. And I believe he's on the list for very good reason. The powers that be, will be able to turn and ask people, look at the list, look at the people being prosecuted. Even our own people are there. Therefore, this thing is not political. It's just trying to catch thieves, corrupt people, period. But of course, DP William Ruto people are not going to take that lying down. Therefore, here there's going to be a problem. Definitely so. And it is going to be very interesting in the coming week to see how this unfolds. Of course, I'm keeping a very close eye on it, and I'll definitely be reporting back regularly on developments. But at least now you have a heads up. Shocking arrests ahead of us. That is really what it is. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.